Hello, everybody. It's a great pleasure to have Mario Adrion on my podcast.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, yes. So I think we first met at the K-Town comedy, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I've seen you around, and because of Zhao Ying, I've known about you.
Yeah. But the thing is, when I first saw your name on the roster or the lineup, I thought this might be like Hispanic guy.
Latino.
Mario Adrion.
Mario Adrion.
Then I was like, but also you look a little bit,
I know.
Hispanic or whatever, But the thing is, did anybody say this to you? You look a little bit like Rick Springfield.
Rick Springfield, who's that?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
He's a rocker back in the 80s.
Let me look this up.
Oh man, he was a heartthrob.
Is he Latino?
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Like this Latino.
I don't know if it's Latino or not. But
what's his name? Rick?
Rick Springfield.
Springfield.
His song is Jesse's Girl. I don't know if you heard of that song.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that. I mean, the first photo that showed up, he's like 7 years old. But I see the old one. Oh, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it. This guy's also, he's ripped, you know what I mean?
But wait a minute. Why is it so ripped? No.
I don't know, but he's very ripped. Yeah,
wait a second. You have to...
this is also him. This is him old. Look at this.
Yeah. You have
Look at this guy.
Oh my God!
He's at least 60.
No, this is not like him when he was younger. Just go to the song, Jesse's Girl.
I know that song.
You know that song. Yeah.
That's cool. No, I'll take it. So many people think I'm Latino, which is so funny because when people go, give it up for Mario Adrion, and then people think I'm like a sexy Latino, you know? And then I have this German accent. I'm like, hello guys, I'm a German, hello, I'm from Alpirsbach im Hochschwarzwald,
Wow.
It's a bit of a different vibe. But,
man.
Yeah.
But is it because I have a lot of kind of stereotypical impression of German culture and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it true that German words are always longer than the average English words? Or?
For the most part, yeah.
That's true.
But it is because we combine our words.
Oh, yeah.
For example, nurse, you have a word for nurse.
Yeah.
In German, we just call it Krankenschwester. Which means Krankenschwester, which means krank means sick, and Schwester means the sister. So it's like the sister of the sick, right? So it kind of makes sense. Or a hospital is like the Krankenhaus, which means the house of the sick. So you kind of combine these words, and because of that, they become very long.
Oh, okay.
And,
but wait a minute, the word for nurse is sick person's sister.
Yes.
Man, isn't it a little bit sexist?
You know what? I guess. But the language is, it's been a minute since that was,
I know,
they made it. So everything back in the day was very sexist.
I know, but it's the same thing in America, People used to say like stewardess, but then,
Yeah, no, they changed it now in Germany too, where like, because we have articles, each word is a gender. Like for example, a table is der Stuhl.
I know. How can you remember those?
It is tough, and there's not really a rule. You have to learn all of them. And we have three. We have masculine, feminine, and neutral.
Okay.
And it's crazy now that with the whole like gender movement and stuff like that, they changed all the words to make them gender neutral. For example, students, they would call it student, which implies it's male. So now they say Studierende, which means the ones that study. So it's very neutral and accepting everybody depending whatever your gender is. So
actually, it might be nicer, right? The language is simpler now. Right?
I wish they did it with everything and they just got rid of all the gender. Like I wish was like English, the table, the woman, all of it was the same. But
oh wow.
Well, for me it's fine because I know German, so I know it. But people who have to learn German, I'm always like, how do you do that? That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Because you have to learn every single word. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Because I was interested in philosophy for a while.
Okay.
I got the impression that Kant is the kind of the philosopher that started everything in Germany. Was that right? Or was he the first guy, or he's one of them more?
I think so. I mean, Kant is the first one that I've kind of heard about. Then the Greeks had their first big philosophers.
Oh yeah.
But then Germany, Immanuel Kant, Yeah. They had a lot of scholars, like Germans, study a lot. People always say, because we have the stereotype of being because the Second World War made us very people think always military and Germans are aggressive, but we had some great Bach and a lot of philosophers, musicians.
Philosophers, great psychiatrists, Freud is German, right?
Freud is Austrian German. So many Austrians are actually, people think they're German.
Yeah.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, not German.
Yeah.
Technically, even Hitler is Austrian.
Yes, exactly.
Freud is Austrian too. But
okay.
they all had like some influence, right? Freud would go back and he would go to, I think he would also study in Germany, but he's from Austria originally.
Okay.
Yeah. So did you study philosophy or just interested in it?
I was just interested in it. Yeah. A little bit of Kant, Schopenhauer, Nietzsche. I think that's about it.
Because doesn't China have some great philosophers? I think there's like some all these proverbs and like wisdoms and stuff. You know, there's all these like beautiful
proverbs,
like right, all this stuff of like metaphors, and they're pretty cool in China.
Because as I grew older, I started to notice more of them. You know, in the beginning, people just always talk about Confucius or Taoism. There's also other like Xunzi or other people. Their philosophy is just looking back. It's kind of very interesting. This guy basically, his philosopher, he had a dream. He dreamt about a butterfly. He woke up and said, "How can I be sure that I am not a butterfly who has a dream as a person?"
Wow!
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh wow,
that's like some Matrix shit.
I know exactly.
That's But that's true. I mean, how do you know?
There's exactly.
Maybe you are a butterfly.
Yeah, exactly. Butterfly rabbit.
That's gonna make me think for the rest of the year. He triggered an existential crisis for me.
Wow. So I always ask my guest one question, which is what makes you? You know, one or two stories in your life that you feel that has a great impact on your life, and that what makes you who you are right now.
I mean, it's a good question. I think what makes me I think there's like a silliness. Because it's I grew up in Germany where everything is very serious. But I remember when I was like 5 years old, my uncle had a birthday party, and I hosted the birthday party. So I was like, Rammstein, the band. Rammstein is like du hast mich, du hast. It's a very aggressive German band. So I was hosting a performance for him where all my cousins would sing it, and I would host it like a comedian. And I never, in Germany there's no comedy. And everything
really?
No, I mean, not really. Like, we don't have stand-up, especially when I grew up, like, 25 years. Like, there's no comedy, really. Stand-up is not a thing in Germany, no. Okay. So everything is more serious. But I was at this birthday party, and I was hosting it, basically doing what a comedian does. And I was like, oh, my God, I love this. But there's not... So that's when I got in touch with my silliness. But then, I grew up with a family of lumberjacks. And in Germany, you can either be an engineer or a techno DJ. There's like two career paths.
Oh, man.
Kind of like...
Wait a minute, lumberjack DJ?
Yeah. That's like the German stereotype.
I know, right? That's called DJ.
But it's true, most of my friends are either engineers or they're in Berlin, doing drugs and making techno music, right? So there's not really any path for comedy or anything in the arts in that sense. But that's when I realized, okay, I want to do something, or at least I found the love for it. But then you grow up in a society where it's not celebrated at all. What is celebrated is to do well in school, and maybe similar to China, right? Where like you have like this ambition, and if you work for Mercedes, then you have a good career. So I kind of got stuck in that. But I always had this silliness that kind of carried me through. And then when I came to the US, I did modeling here. And then through modeling kind of got into the whole,
so you did modeling silliness. In America?
Yeah, so that's how it started, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's how I came here at first. So, and I was a Zoolander model, and then
really?
I got into
Wait a minute, how did you get selected and come over here?
Well, I was on Facebook, and I posted some photo on Facebook, and it was just like me. I was maybe 17 years old, and I was at a swimming pool with my shirt off. I accidentally posted a thirst trap, accidentally.
Okay.
So I posted that, and then somebody found it online. Some modeling scout found me on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
And he sent me a message. He was like, "Hey, gorgeous. You should come to New York and be a model."
Wait a minute, that's his exact word?
Yeah,
hey,
he
gorgeous.
said, "Hey, gorgeous," hey, handsome, hey, gorgeous, something like that.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
And I know. And then he was like, "Come to New York, you can stay at my place in Harlem."
Oh.
And I didn't know what Harlem was. You know, I was like, oh, Harlem, that sounds so exotic. You know, I was like, oh, it's such a beautiful place. So I went to New York, and it was a little weird, obviously, but he was cool. You know, he introduced me to some modeling agents, to my first agency, some photographers, and then
So you didn't do any background check, you know, if he's a legitimate guy.
You know what? I'm very naive. Sometimes like I'm very optimistic. I'm an optimist, right? I always believe in the good of people. Sometimes too much, where I always think, anybody's gonna be, have the best interest. Nobody's gonna try to scam me or, abuse me, anything like that. So, because I grew up in a town with no crime, in Germany. Everything is perfect. It's like very idyllic,
really?
Small town in the south of Germany, very, very middle class, like very chill. Nothing bad happens. So we leave our doors open. Everybody's friendly. And then I come to New York and I realize, whoa, not everybody's friendly.
Oh no!
So it was like a big of I had to adapt a little bit, but
I think that my impression of New York is occasionally they're nice to you, but then they hate themselves for doing it.
Yeah. Right. They kind of like the
meanness.
The meanness. They live for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was driving in Manhattan. I need to switch my lane. One guy just waved me in. Mm-hmm. After he waved me in, he rolled down the window, just yelled at me, "Fuck you!" I was like, "What?"
Yeah, people like to be mad.
They like to be mean. Tough,
It's so funny. That is the most New York thing.
And then we just drive on.
No, people live for that. I think Germany we're more friendly. We're not very warm, but very friendly. Kind of like people compare it sometimes to Japanese culture a little bit. Where Japanese people are also very very friendly and respectful, but maybe not the warm. Maybe not the distance. They keep distance. That's what Germans are like. We're not. We don't yell at you really, but we're like also it's hard to be close to a German. We don't open up. Like Latinos is the opposite. Latinos very warm, very love. So
but then I think things are changing a little bit too in America. Sometimes I would see two really red guys, looking really tough. Then they would talk about their parents. Which kind of is kind of moving, and then all of a sudden they're like, "You want to hug it out?" I was like, "What?" They actually just have a big hug, and I was like, "Oh."
I mean, I think that's nice though. I think we need that more, because sometimes,
But it just surprised me.
It is surprising. You're right.
It didn't happen. Didn't used to be like this before.
No. Depends. Do you think they were gay guys or straight guys?
Oh no, they're very straight. Very straight guys. That's why it's so shocking.
But I think that's good because I think straight men sometimes we can be lonely. Because we don't have that. Sometimes we think, we have to be so tough. We can't, hug. But sometimes
we're supposed to keep it down.
But sometimes you need a hug. I think that's good that that's happening. Yeah.
Oh wow, jeez. But then, after coming to America, then you started your comedy career here, or
that was more recent. So I started. So I made YouTube. I started making YouTube videos first because I did modeling and I liked it, but I didn't love modeling. It was like. I like the traveling and I like meeting new people, but I didn't care for fashion as much or like the industry. Modeling is kind of...
You still look fashionable.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, whatever, but I'm not like... for a comedian, maybe.
For a comedian,
Look at this guy. He looks great.
It was like a Halloween pumpkin, but
you look like a pumpkin. I love it. I love it. No, but there's a limited way of expressing yourself. With modeling.
You can't talk.
No, you can only look hot.
But I know it feels like modeling is the exact opposite of stand-up comedy. It's like you don't talk.
You don't talk. You don't, and also to be fair, you don't have. You're not. You're an object. As a model, you are not the most important part. The clothing is. So you're an accessory to the clothing. Some people think, you're a model. The clothing is supposed to make you the star. No. The clothing is the star. You are you're a hanger. You're a mannequin.
What? I never thought it that way.
No, you're not. You're in the bottom of the hierarchy too, because at the end of the day, you're you have no say creatively. You know, you go to a shoot and they go, okay, this you're shooting now for whatever brand, Bloomingdale's, whatever it is, and they go, okay, you have to present the clothing this way because the cast, whatever, the creative director has the vision or the designer, and you're just executing, and they tell you what to do, so you're like a robot. Whereas with stand-up, you have, you know, you're the director, you're the writer, you're like everything, which is amazing. And I missed that creative expression in modeling. So that's when I started making YouTube videos. So I made like vlogs. I was like, hey guys, it's me, Mario. Today we're going to New York Fashion Week. And then I made a vlog where I went to New York Fashion Week and I talked to like other models and I made fun of the whole industry. And I posted the video and I did it at first not so much to become famous or have become a YouTuber. It was not that big back then. It was like 2016 or 15 when I started. But I did it so I have a memory to look back at. I like making videos and storytelling through video.
Wow.
So it's like I want to look back at this when I'm like have grandkids and be like, hey, look, this is when I used to model in New York at Fashion Week. And then I put the video on YouTube, not thinking much about it. And then like 3 days later, I got like 100,000 views or something on YouTube.
Wow.
And then from there, I was like, oh, maybe, you know, people like this. And then people asked me questions. Hey, what's your diet? So I started making videos answering those questions. And then I kind of built a YouTube career. That became the main focus for me. It was not modeling, it was YouTube. And then I got in touch with like, you know, doing something creative.
You just do the editing yourself?
Yeah. I would wake up. I'm pretty disciplined, so I would wake up at 6 a.m., do some like, you know, go to the gym, do some editing, and then my castings would start. You know, because I had castings every day in New York. And then, I would do both at the same time. It was a very intense time in my life, but it was also New York, and it was amazing. Just every day is so filled with experiences, and I loved it.
You still do editing yourself right now? Or?
No, I have an editor now.
Okay.
I do some editing. I do the first draft, but then I send it to him to basically do all the details and the subtitling and all the like, you know, the more meticulous technical things he does.
Nice.
But that's kind of like how I started with doing something comedic. It was not stand-up, but it was silly, and there was a lot of jokes and silliness in it. More like improvised, obviously, nothing written. And then right before the pandemic, I did improv. I love improv. So I went to Second City in Hollywood, did improv, and then one day I showed up on the wrong day. And they were like, no, but we have an intro to stand-up comedy class, and there's only 7 people, and we need 8 to start the class. Do you want to maybe do it? And I was like, sure, I like doing new things. And then I did stand-up for the first time at a class. And it was interesting to see how, like, you can have a YouTube video that gets millions of views, but telling a story in front of 10 people in their class was somehow more rewarding. You know?
Wow, I never thought about
because
that.
It's real people, and it's not like a camera lens. Because you just see a number on YouTube. I mean, it's comments, and you kind of get a sense of like there's a human element. But at the end of the day, it's just a number. It says 1 million. It says whatever it is. Like it doesn't. But seeing the people and hearing them laugh was something I was like, oh, this is different. You know, like a live performance.
There's a rush.
It is, right? Yeah. So that's when I started. It was right before the pandemic. And it was in 2020 when I started. And then I was like, okay, I'm moving to LA. Got an apartment here in February of 2020. And then 2 weeks later, COVID, everything shut down. So then I stopped stand-up for a year and a half, and I started again in 2021. So that's kind of like how it evolved for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I saw your stand-up, you know, a couple of times live or on the internet. I think you don't do any offensive material. You know, you make fun of yourself. You know, you make fun.
For the most part, I think I'm pretty clean. Yeah.
So, what do you think of this recent event? You know, like during Trump rally, this comedian was making fun of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I think it's a horrible idea to book Tony Hinchcliffe at a political event. Because he's a roast. What he does is roasting. You know what I mean? And it's also a weird setting. I think if you did the same thing at a comedy club, like have you seen a roast battle? Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a roast. Like, I don't know if people watching have seen a roast battle. Like, the stuff that's said is crazy, and it's so offensive. But it works when you're at a roast battle. But if you take that outside of a person, like for regular people,
the target is not there.
Oh my God! If you took any roast battle and people who don't know what roasted, one time I was at the Improv, and they did like a roast battle, like what is Comic Wars or whatever, and they did this roast battle, like this girl was roasting this, like this white girl was roasting this black girl. Oh my god, the racist stuff she said was crazy. So if anybody walked, and there was some people who walked in, and I was like, if they walk in now with no context, they just walk to the Improv and they hear a girl and she makes like some jokes about your hairline has to sit in the back of the butt, like crazy, like, you know, it would not fly anywhere else. So I think with Tony Hinchcliffe, it's like it's just the wrong setting for it, and the joke I think was not funny, like the thing about Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I just feel that they picked the right person.
The right person?
Yeah, I feel that they picked the right person because a lot of them are super racist, but they don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, you know, I know that crowd. Trust me.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some Asian MAGA people who joined the Trump rally.
Okay. And there's a lot of Asian on south of it, yeah.
Yeah, but then some other MAGA guy just told them to go home.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, that, you know, like, people are like, oh, it's a comedian. But I'm like, no, they pick him for a reason. They have some racist shit to get out. You know, like, it's for us, we feel, oh, it's really offensive to, you know, to a lot of people. But then for a lot of his people in his fan base, that's exactly how they felt. You know, look at how Trump treated Puerto Rico back 4 years ago. That's how Trump felt about Puerto Rico too. He wants to get rid of it.
Well, I don't know if it was their interest because they distanced themselves, right? The Trump administration, they distanced themselves because he needs the votes.
He needs the votes.
That's why I think maybe it was not the. I'm sure if you just want to have a fun rally, Tony Hinchcliffe is great, but like because now this is just like for the Democrats, they're gonna obviously use that and like you know, like to call it the Nazi rally and all this stuff, right? So I don't know if that press is good for them, but yeah, it's just wild. But that's also, I mean, in a way, like I think it's crazy, and I don't think it was funny. But on the other hand, I'm like, also like the balls for Tony Hinchcliffe to do that, like that's crazy. You're in the spotlight at one of the biggest like event. This is the most heated election possibly ever, and you're at one of the most controversial events, and you do that joke. I mean, I've got to be like, I don't agree with it, but part of me is like, man, that takes some like courage to just do that.
But then that's his thing, though.
It's his thing,
I mean, that's why they picked him too. You know, I think ironically, a lot of people commented. They were like, "That comedian," but nobody knows his name. There's that comedian is horrible. Blah blah.
Well, they call him Kill Tony because he's known for the show, right?
He was used to run a show in I think the Comedy Store, right?
And that's huge. It's the biggest podcast. This is the biggest live podcast in the world. So it's like people know him more for his show. But it's hard when you're so used to that crowd, because I think what happens with Kill Tony is that it cultivates an energy of comedy that's a little like more edgy, right? Which is fun, but sometimes it goes a little too far in my opinion, where like it is then when you take it out of that bubble. That's what happened in Austin, Texas. You go to Austin, you've been to Austin, I'm sure, right?
I've never been to their show in Austin.
But even Austin, the whole city now becomes this thing where like people say very offensive things to get attention, right, and to get laughs. Which I think there's a place for that in comedy. But if it's just that, it kind of loses. You know, it's not all comedy. It's about. So I think what that show did is made everything so edgy and so acceptable, which I think comedy needs. But then sometimes people who are in that bubble lose track of what you can say outside. Because I see some comics from Austin and they do shows in LA and they bomb very hard because they say, like, you know, the first 3 seconds they say retard and like, you know, the F and all that stuff, and it's just a different bubble that you're in. So I think that's what happened with Kill Tony. If you did that set on Kill Tony, you get a lot of laughs and it's great, but you do it outside of that, not the right setting. But
I also feel that if you're in the roast battle and your opponent is a Hispanic guy, and then you kind of have this agreement, we can just say whatever then that's okay. But it's anyway,
because they can defend themselves too.
Exactly.
If you say something against Puerto Ricans, you have a Puerto Rican you're roasting.
Can say against you.
But you say something against Puerto Rican on a stage, nobody can defend. You know what I mean?
I know.
I think the joke was also about the garbage island of garbage is referring also to the fact that they have a big plastic and like recycling problem there. So it's a bit more nuanced than that, you know.
But nobody knows that.
Nobody knows that. Without that context, it sounds like way worse. So
yeah, man, it's just interesting, you know.
But you're not edgy either, right? Your stuff is also pretty clean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm kind of on the receiving end of a lot of edgy jokes, you know. Like,
sure.
Honestly, the stuff that Tony did in the rally was kind of commonplace back in the 80s and 90s in America. You know, back those days, you know, just all fair game, you know. But then gradually people started to feel, this is not right to make fun of people who are, you know, less privileged than you.
Sure.
Yeah, but then I think there is like counterbalance now, you know, just
yeah, I think so.
You know, people become too sensitive, you know, like cancel culture, and then now they're fighting back.
Yeah,
I think just
I think it's gonna find a healthy balance in a way.
Yeah,
because I agree. I think it went too far with the cancel culture, where it's just like you're afraid to say anything. You know,
but then I also feel that this whole cancel culture is fake now.
Yeah.
To give me one example of a comedian actually got canceled.
You're right.
Nobody got canceled. You know,
yeah,
you got canceled by this. You know, you Joe Rogan did a podcast. Your career took off. Nobody's really canceled.
You know, I mean, Chris D'Elia's touring, Louis C.K. is touring.
Yeah.
But they were also, I mean, if you're canceled for, the only person that's actually canceled, if you think about it, is like Harvey Weinstein, like somebody who did something like an actual crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But no, he deserves it. You know,
1000%.
Yeah.
But also cancel culture, it's hard to cancel somebody now that you have social media.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's been democratized, and that's actually kind of beautiful in a way because like before, if you're canceled if you're on Disney or you're on like a whatever sitcom, they cancel you. You have no outlet because the traditional media was controlling everything. Now, I mean, you see, Andrew Tate is relevant in a way where like you know you can go podcast traditional like. It's so different now. Alex Jones, people are on Rumble, whatever. Like X now is like this platform where free speech basically happens, and it's very hard to. Yeah, you're right.
So nobody gets canceled. It's a brave new world.
It's a brave new world. Which I think is good, but also it comes with bad. It's good and bad. You know, because I'm guessing like you know it's different, and you know in China it's probably different, right? Where you maybe have to play a bit more by the rules.
Oh, right? It's kind of the opposite.
It's kind of the opposite, right? I can imagine.
But China had seen a huge boom in stand-up comedy. You know? It's probably the biggest thing in entertainment in China for the past 10 years. Really? Is the rise of stand-up comedy.
Interesting.
It's gigantic. You know, like people just go to live comedy shows.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Isn't that really? I liked it about comedy that it's very future-proof too, because you know live performance, even with AI, even with technology, it seems like stand-up is just growing. Because you think, people only stay inside, but no, people want human interact. They want like something real, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And stand-up provides that in a beautiful way.
So, I totally agree. It's just that, but still, you need the online presence to get people out.
Yeah, so that's the balance, right?
That's the hard part.
Did you come more from traditional, right? From TV and stuff? Yeah.
It's a very different world. You know, like when I came up, my first TV spot was the Letterman show. Yeah. And they didn't want me to smile on camera either. They just feel that, if you smile or laugh, you're just kind of suggesting to the audience, it's time to laugh. You just have to make people laugh with only your words.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
tough.
That's what they did in the past.
So different.
But right now it's just like you see comedians just laughing on stage. Just do all sorts of things.
How dare they laugh on stage? Come on. It's very different. I mean, the style of comedy is like, especially late night. I'm actually working right now with my manager on like a tape, you know, for submission for late night and stuff like that. And it's so hard because it's so different from like, you know, my style is more like free and I interact a little bit and like it's so, you know, word specific and very almost clinical, like old school way of doing comedy.
Exactly.
Which
really, you know, just work on every word.
Every single word is like a specific.
Every second counts.
Every second. That's why. And also, like, what was hard for me is doing this when I was taping some of them. I was in New York. I was doing some tapes. Usually when somebody does an interaction, for example, I say, whatever, I'm from Germany, and then somebody says, jawohl, I want to interact. I want to call them out and like talk about this, but I have to almost like, nope, I have to stick to this like more performative script, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, but then once you have that habit, you know, it's just, I always feel that, you know, audience interaction is kind of a easier way to get laughs. But now people are more into it now. Just you have to kind of adapt. You know?
I think so. I personally think it makes it more real because then you acknowledge that you're present. It doesn't feel like a performance. It feels like you're acknowledging the energy. It's just like people want to feel like they're part of the room, right?
Yeah.
So I understand, and it's like this. It's also a balance for me. It's like, okay, how much do I do of that? And also the biggest balance for me is like, how much do I work on stand-up and how much do I work on social media, because you kind of need both now. You know, you can only, there's some people who only work on stand-up but they'll never have a career because they only focus on that, but they're great comics. But then there's some people who do just social media, and it's like, but then you suck as a comic. Like, what do you, that's like the balance between that I have, because I come from social media, but I love comedy. I write every day, but like, what's the good balance? Is it 70% on social media? Because the more I do social media, the more shows I have, the more tickets I sell, the more comedy I can do, the better I get at comedy. But so it's like this, I'm trying to figure out this like balance now in this new world of comedy.
I know. I know, that's a good question. You know, like, what would be the good ratio? You know, how do you divide your time? You know, it's always hard. You know?
How was that for you, the switch from like traditional now to like having to use or needing social media?
It's been rough. You know? But you know, you just try to keep up with it. You know, there's no other way around. You know? Like, you're trying to get on a late night talk show, but then it doesn't help your career that much anymore. You know?
No.
You do it. I saw a couple of people who did it. You know. It's just almost you know, you got a good tape. You know, you put on your social media, and that's it.
It's like credibility in Hollywood. But if you already have that, like like I'm newer, for me it would be like, okay, people have like, they respect me more as a comic maybe, but ticket sales, I don't think they come from that. Like, I did some stuff on TV, even like for, you know, I did something on American Idol. That stuff didn't translate into like social following, or it was like when I post my own stuff. And that, now people come out from that. You know, nobody's like, oh, I saw you on TV once, I came to the show. I mean, you know, of course, if you're on a big sitcom or you know, a TV show, of course that's the case. But for the most part, it's social media now. You know. And
also Hollywood is kind of so depressed right now. You know, there's not that much production going on. I just saw a lot of. Like, TV stars doing stand-up now. You know?
So many of them.
You're right. Kind of nice. Okay, I saw you on the show.
But that's LA. That's LA for you. Not a lot of people. I mean, so many people who stand up here. There's so many. I think the ratio of comedians to actual shows is probably the high. Like, you know, in LA it's probably the highest. There's so many comedians. But then not that many shows. You know. So it's crazy. How was it for you? I'm always curious because I just went to Berlin. I did my first shows in Europe. So I did Berlin, London. Had some great shows.
But do you perform in English? Or
all of it in English. I only did comedy, but that's what I'm getting to. I've only done comedy in English, and I love it. But then I did one spot in Berlin in German. It's 15 minutes, never done it before. It's the first time I was really nervous about the show in a long time because I'd never done it before. It's like doing stand-up for the first time in a way. Because it's a different language.
Exactly.
And I was like, for me, it was so weird because I realized I can't use the same jokes really because the cultural reference, I talk about whatever, Trader Joe's. People don't know what that is in German. Some people might, but for the most part, they don't know. And then also, a joke structure is like you have a word at the end, that's the punchline. But when you translate into German, the structure is different, right? So like the word, the funny word might not be at the end, it might be in the beginning. So the joke, you can't just translate it. So how is that for you doing? Because you've done comedy in Chinese and in English,
I just did a Chinese language show in New York City.
Oh, really?
But then I've been touring in Chinese for like more than 10 years.
In America?
No, both in America and in China.
And in China,
So I agree. It's very hard to translate. You know, you're lucky if you can translate like 20%. between languages, but still you have to tweak it, you know.
Sure. Yeah. And because culturally China is so different from America, so you need like different perspectives. What's easier for you? Is it in Chinese, in your native language, or in English?
Well, it's just different, you know. Both are fine. I just feel that audience, because the logic behind every joke is exactly the same.
Yeah,
the techniques,
sure.
You know, the rule of three, you know, this and that. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah,
it's just the cultural subcontext is different. I say one word, the Chinese person may think one thing, an American guy will think another thing. You know, that's the difference there.
Yeah,
that's why you kind of have to know the culture. You know.
Oh yeah, because I think the cultural difference is bigger between America and China than between America and Germany. Because America and Germany, it's quite similar. I mean, there's cultural difference for sure, but at large, I was surprised. Most jokes I did in English in Berlin, even some. I mean, there's a lot of international people in Berlin who came to the show, obviously, but there's a lot of Germans still. I would say 50% Germans. The rest was like, you know, Romanians or British people, whatever. But they really got it. It's like it's kind of like the same. The only thing they got really weird about the Germans is when I do jokes about my Jewish wife. Or anything about Nazi, like anything like that, because you know it's obviously a big experience as a German. Americans laugh at that a lot. Germans, they find it hard to laugh at because we have so much guilt.
You know? I see what you're saying.
It's like that's one big difference, but for the most part, it was fine.
Sometimes if you travel a lot, you just feel that the world is very weird. People are very similar, but it's just mostly the distance that make them think they're different from this other guys. But deep down, we're very similar. Actually.
We're all really the same.
Very similar desires, you know, hopes and dreams. It's just all the same. But still, people are like, oh, you know, those people. Anyway,
but there are some. I mean, there's of course. I think at the essence we're all the same, but there's just collective cultural differences. I think that are quite noticeable. Like I noticed it with I've been to China many times too, and it's definitely very different from other countries, even in Southeast Asia or other Asian countries. You know what I mean? It's a huge difference because some people, they always, you know, Americans, they always think Asia. They put all of Asia. They think it's all. It couldn't be more different. It's wild to me how like the difference between
even within China. It's
within China too. Oh, okay.
It's very different.
Because I've been to Shenzhen many times, and then I did jobs in Hong Kong a lot, but then also went to I think Guangzhou. Did some jobs there. I did modeling there. So
wow!
I did some jobs there.
Guangzhou is very fun. It's a very relaxed city there.
Not for me what I did there. It was modeling. So I did I've done some. I never lived in China, but for modeling I lived all over. Like I was in Singapore, a lot in Singapore. Singapore was like the main one I did in Asia. South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong. But they work. Oh my God, China's tough with how much they work you.
Oh man!
Because I did like catalogs, you know, like online catalogs, where you have to basically. What happens as a model? You go there and you put on outfits, and then you take a photo, front, side, back, next outfit. Like it's very clinical. You know, it's not like cool modeling. It's like very like front, side, back, outfit, change again, one side back. And in America, I worked for Bloomingdale's and Macy's, stuff like that, and I would do like maybe 30, 35, 40 outfits a day, you know? China, 90. Like crazy. They would like, it was like very...
But my question is, when you do this in America, do they ask you to give certain attitude, certain look for the outfit?
Some brands do. But for the most part, it's kind of like it's always the same. You know, it's kind of like, you know, some brands are more smiley and some are a bit more serious. So it depends on the brand. For the most part, it's the same, right? If you have a brand, for example, if you work for, Macy's, more smiley, right? But then if you work for a brand like, whatever, Calvin, I mean, I never worked for Calvin, but if you work for like a more, high fashion brand, then you're more like, you know, serious, like, you know, modeling look. Cool. Exactly. Looking like you're grumpy the whole time, you know, that's kind of like the vibe,
But is that the same thing in Singapore or China? Or
you know, it's funny, it also depends on the brand. I think it was a lot more cheesy. Southeast Asia was a lot more campy. Like they were like, a lot of smiling and stuff and like shoe brand and stuff like that. I did some shops in Malaysia and stuff like that was like so like over the top. They like very over the top poses too. In America, it's very simple, just look normal, you know what I mean? There, they wanted to do like the, some poses like this, like kind of dramatic too,
that's
like it was
funny.
more posed and over the top. And then it really depends on the brand though. Cause again, you have some brands that are more serious there and some that are more happy and stuff like that. Have you seen Triangle of Sadness?
Wait a minute. Oh, no, I only saw part of it.
Okay, so Triangle of Sadness.
Finish.
You didn't finish, but you saw the beginning part when they were a model?
Yeah.
He was like H&M, Balenciaga.
The
different looks of like, the...
okay, I thought that was...
sad and happy.
I thought just one model who does it, but I guess...
Oh, no, it's real. I mean, this scene was so fun because it's truly how it is. You have to like, so you have the happy look and then you have the like, cool look. That's kind of like the two personas you have in modeling depending on what kind of brand it is.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was interesting to see the culture also, how work culture is different in China versus other countries. Was interesting, seeing that, like, even between the US and then doing jobs in Singapore versus then in China, South Korea. Very different, very different. It's weird. Also, I always had a translator with me. Because I didn't, I don't speak the language, which is it was so funny. I just felt like, it's like such a different experience culturally when you're in this. You don't know I felt like helpless in China. I didn't, first of all, I had no Google Maps. Like I felt like a child. I literally had a translator, but really was a babysitter, because they would drive me around. They'd be like, okay, now you have your job there. I can't like, look up where to go. It's like, I don't have Google. My apps don't work in China.
I mean, I think Google Map doesn't work. Okay, but Apple Map actually works.
Oh, Apple Maps work. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I just remember like looking things up, and I don't even know. I can't put it. Like I don't know the symbol. Like it was. I felt like a. It was so funny. I felt like a child. Like a baby who needs a mom to get around.
But then. Excuse me. But are you comfortable with the food there, though? Because
the Chinese food,
but because you not just Chinese for Southeast Asia.
Sure, depends. I mean, some things I got to be honest. Like I'm very open-minded to food and stuff like that. And I've tried many different things. I mean, my favorite. I love hot pot. Like I love that. That's my favorite in China for sure. Some of the stuff, sure. I've been to some markets also. When they have like the what did I eat? I mean, I don't even know some bat or some stuff or like I mean, I've tried
like
the chicken,
fried scorpion,
stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or I mean, some of the markets I tried for fun, like in Thailand, I've tried the scorpion and stuff like that. Which is not something I would consume on a daily basis. But sometimes I remember in China when it was just like like the big chicken. It was just culturally strange for me, But I'm always down to try. Like we've been to I went to Flushing with Zhao Ying once to like a very old school, very traditional. Peking duck, right? And that was amazing, right? It was amazing and but it was very authentic. I mean, I felt
I never can get enough of it. It's great.
And I felt like I was legit in China, though. I mean, Flushing is like I was like, whoa, this is more Chinese than China. This is crazy.
But the problem with me traveling is sometimes places have different standards. I was in Shanxi province. They're like, oh man, this. Sheep tribe noodle soup. It's great. I was like, is it spicy? No, it's not spicy at all. I ate it. Oh man, it was just so hot. My stomach was bothering me for a couple of days. Man. Because every city has a very different standard for how spicy the food is. I cannot handle spicy food well. Me neither.
Really?
I used to be able to, but I'm older now.
You're older now? No, my stomach, I really, like even jalapeno, even Mexican, like sometimes if I, something with jalapenos, my stomach, I always have issues. Because German food is it's not as spicy. We're not known for spicy food. It's more like maybe more flavorful, salty. Like we have a lot of. It's nice
like
too.
Sausages and ham,
like schnitzel, sauerkraut, sausage, stuff like that. Like more hearty for sure.
It's very similar to the food in my hometown, which is northeast part of China.
Oh really?
Yeah, we actually make sauerkraut in the fall. And
Really?
Store them in a cellar.
Oh my God, I didn't know there was.
There's vegetable during the winter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sauerkraut at the end of I just know, I mean, the most famous one in Asia would be kimchi in South Korea.
Yeah.
Where you have,
we make kimchi
it's
as
cabbage.
well. It's a different
style of kimchi. Yeah. Probably they're fighting over who invented it and stuff like that, probably. Yeah.
There's always these.
Yeah, there's always a fight.
But I just don't, I don't see any point fighting over who invented what first, we all started with eating, you have to eat something,
that's true. That's interesting though. I didn't know that.
Another thing is like here in the United States, when you say immigrant, people immediately thought about Latino or Asians. People won't think about white people at all.
No, but everybody's an immigrant here.
I know.
That's the funniest thing too. At these what somebody at the Trump rally said. America is for Americans. Joe Rogan talked about this also, and he was like, "America is for Americans." What are Americans?
I know.
If you talk about Native Americans, sure, but then the rest of us are all Irish.
I know.
Immigrants, Germans.
Man, it's just funny. They try to pull this almost similar to Nazi propaganda stuff, Hitler used to say, Germany is for Germans, or whatever,
Something like that. Yeah, it rings a little different for sure. That has a different.
I know, but still, this is America. I remember Trump tried to remove the words from the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does it say on there?
It just says, basically welcome the poor immigrants, blah blah.
Oh, everybody's welcome, kind
of. But then he wants to erase it. It's oh man.
I mean, it's nuanced because I understand. I also do understand with immigration. It's like when you have. I think you should say something more specific, like don't have criminals. Because that's the thing. That's the big point. But then
what they don't say is even among illegal immigrants, the crime rate is actually lower among illegal immigrants than the general population.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody says this. Illegal immigrants also pay taxes.
Yeah.
No, they don't want to talk about it.
Interesting.
But they just need an enemy. They made up a lot of stuff. It's like. The craziest thing I heard recently was, these illegal immigrants come here and get free sex change operation for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this.
What? I'm like, where can I get it? Crazy though.
I've heard something like this too. That the sex change is actually covered, but that's wild because in America nothing's covered.
No.
If you break your leg, you have to pay for it.
But just like your kids have a sex change without parent approval. That's so BS. I have a child. Even when my son had coughs, they have to call me, first to agree to whatever treatment. Oh man, but people just run with it. And there's so many people believing in
it's just
that BS.
The thing is, it's often what happens on both sides that I'll say this is like you take an issue and you take one extreme case and then you generalize it and make it, that's what they all do. You know what I mean? It's like all the immigrants come here and they all do crimes and rob people and then get free sex changes right after they rob a bank. And it's like, Jesus Christ, that's like that happened maybe once and then it becomes this generalized thing. However, though, I'll also say that it's more nuanced that not all Trump supporters are like. I also bother a little bit with the other side where it's like you think all Trump supporters are these mega racist dudes. Because I've traveled and I'll say this, I've been to Central Florida and I did a tour there and I met a lot of Trump supporters, obviously, because I'm Florida, right? At the end of the day, they're just they're not all these racist, homophobic, you know what I mean? That's just a subgroup of extreme people. And I sometimes also hate that the hatred goes towards all the Trump supporters, right? I think I'd love a little bit more empathy where it's some of them, you can disagree, but I hate that there's so much hatred towards this group that's just being put in a box on both sides, because I've met lovely people on both sides. And
I mean, both sides has, terrible policies, to be honest. But that goes both ways. But, I kind of sympathize with people who are into Republican ideology and has to vote for Trump. But there's another group of people, they just for Trump, nothing, nobody else. No, exactly, those are the people I don't respect.
Yeah,
no, I just say that out loud.
Extremist, that's MAGA. That's
it's
MAGA and Republicans are
cult of personality. You know, why are you pulling this shit here? You know, just like, you know, if you like,
it's truly is like a cult personality. But that's
I mean, you see people, you know, driving a boat with Trump and then the Nazi flag. I was like, okay, wow, I'm sure you're helping the cause. You know?
It's so funny also here the division, because I live in West Hollywood, right, and across when you walk a block down, we walk our dog there, and there's like this. It's so funny. There's like two houses, and it's so symbolic. And one house is like, you know, more wealthy, like a nicer house and stuff, like Range Rover outside, and it's like bull horns, Trump 2024, like 10 signs, and then on the other side there's like a little garden. It's just like Harris Waltz 2024, and they're just like, it's so funny because they're literally across. It almost seems like this neighborhood beef they have, where it's like across from the street, but
that's Trump's strategy, though. He divides people.
And
it's just like no one else in America.
It's more divisive,
it's like a lot of people just told me, oh, I can't even have a peaceful Thanksgiving dinner anymore. It's just like when the relatives get politics. Relatives get to, even if you don't bring it up, because Trump was in the news, it's on your social media. This guy just used 1,000 times a day. You know, it's very hard to avoid. You know?
And I think also the problem is the media too, because the media in America different than in Germany, and I don't know about China, but
private media right here.
Exactly. I mean, China, I'm sure it's government. So Germany's kind of like a middle ground where you have some private, but then you have one channel that's basically tax funded, and it's very like unbiased, right? Or like, I mean, supposedly, I think it never is, but it's very much like dry facts, no emotions. They don't have to do anything crazy, because they're not trying to sell ads. Whereas in America, you've seen Fox News, and it's better for business when you pick a side, and when you like negativity travels faster. So if CNN talks about Trump Nazi rally and really like says horrible things about Trump, that makes more views. On the Fox News, if they trash Kamala and say she eats babies or whatever, that's better for views. So like it creates this like division on both sides. Whereas, you know, in Germany, it's kind of like we don't have as much division. You have people on the left and on the right, but we don't. It's not that hate. Like I noticed it during COVID. Like some people didn't want to get the vaccine, you know, and people are like, "Oh, he does not like vaccines." In America, if you don't get the vaccine, people are like, oh, "He hates trans people." You know, it's like these issues get
they're all lumped together. I know.
Right? Like if you don't get the vaccine, you must love guns. You must hate gay people, and you must hate women's rights. It's like, wait, these are separate issues. How did that become like, you know what I mean?
But that's probably when you only have two choices. But on the other hand, you know, when Biden or Obama was the president, you don't see as much of a divide.
That's right.
I think whoever is the president does make a difference.
Trump's the most polarizing president probably ever.
Because probably. I didn't spend that much time in this country.
I mean, maybe during the Civil War, but since then, like,
the Civil War or the Vietnam War, But
since then,
But once he's on there, people always are divided, and he thrives on that. You know, that's why I think it's just not a good thing. You know, no, I'm not a Republican, but I admire people like John McCain, even Mitt Romney has traits that I like. You know, I can say like good
normal
things.
Republican.
I mean,
not a meme.
Things that I don't agree or I agree, but in general, they're decent people. You know.
Yeah, they don't go on Facebook and say I hate Taylor Swift or something. You know,
I know. Jesus Christ.
It's fun. I think Trump is entertaining and stuff, but I think he just creates too much. Also, as a leader of a country, I think it's tough when you're that. He's funny. I think if he stayed in reality TV, he's actually. I think he's likable in some ways. Where he's funny, and I've seen him on podcasts. You know, he was on Joe Rogan for like 3 hours and stuff like that, and it's like, I mean, he's actually a funny dude, but it's just like when you're the leader of a country, I think there has to be a level of seriousness. You know what I mean, where you can just because he's such a meme. He's such a meme. So as a world leader of this, the most important job essentially in the world, right? Where, because German politicians are just so dry and so boring. But like,
that's what I want in a politician, though.
There's
seriously,
a sense of boringness about them that's actually, you're right.
But then, is it because of the system? Like, is German a parliamentary democracy?
Yeah, so
you elect the party, and the head of the party becomes the chancellor.
Yeah, but it's not just one party. So in Germany, we have we have more than 7 parties in the parliament right now. Whereas in America, you have 2. Really, you know what I mean? Some countries you have 1.
Trump wants to have one guy.
But no, we have 7 parties. So like, what happens is you vote for a party, and then the parties have to form a coalition. So for example, you have, and it's kind of cool because then each party can represent your needs and your opinions.
Exactly.
Whereas, most people who vote Republican don't agree with, they are like, there's moderate Republicans, and there's like Democrats are also, there's some super left Democrats, and there's some more moderate, or like, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a, very liberal Republican. So there's a party for each of these groups. There's one party in Germany, it's more of a libertarian party. Then there's more like a Democratic party, which is called the CDU, more Christian. Then there's one that's like a Democrats. And then there's one that's like Bernie Sanders, if he had a party. And then there's one more right, if like MAGA had a party. That's like they're more like immigration, and there's the new party. They're actually gaining a lot of popularity because of the refugee crisis. But that means and we have a Green Party, so it means like you can kind of have a party that represents you.
Okay.
And then they form a coalition. So if one party gets 20%, one gets 20%, one gets 20%, they can't do it by themselves. They need more than 50. So they form a coalition, those 3 together, and they're basically in the government then, which has perks, but also is tough because finding a middle ground between 3 parties is also difficult. So I think no system is perfect, but
that's true. Nothing's perfect, but you probably don't rely on them. Don't rely too much on like charisma to when you pick a chancellor.
No.
No. And unlike America, it's all about charisma. Who's more popular.
It's about That's crazy. How they run is so funny too, because in Germany, you choose the party based on the politics of the party, the policies, and not as much on the person. In America, it's like, I don't like how Kamala laughs. I'm not going to vote for her. It's like in Germany, people don't like really care about that.
I know.
Like, what does the party actually say and rep what they want to do?
I'm just surprised. Also, before Kamala, there was another guy, Ron Howard. He's a governor of the state of Maine.
Okay.
The reason he fell off the radar is because he yelled weirdly. He just basically said, "Yeah." He's done. I was like, "What?" That's
oh my god!
Unbelievable. Yeah. So,
it's very different because in Germany, when you also vote, they're running for office. They're like, "Please vote for us, because we will increase the percentage of sustainable energy." Very like dry. In America, it's like, please vote for me because Hillary Clinton eats babies.
I know.
Biden fell on a bicycle. He can't even walk. He takes naps all that. It's such a different approach.
You can't even remember their policies or whatever.
All they do is like they trash the other side instead of like, I mean, not all they do, but like a lot of it is like, instead of talking about policies, it's like trashing the other side and insulting them.
I just heard that they spent over $1 billion in Pennsylvania during the selection cycle.
$1 billion?
More than $1 billion.
Wow.
1.2 billion or something. I was like, wow.
That's wild.
We should have more elections. This is so good for the economy.
That's crazy.
Billionaires are spending something in America.
They're spending on what? On ads and like
ads, campaign, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Wild.
It's just one state. It's just like, which is, I think it's great for the economy. Like billionaires, sometimes they don't spend money in America, right? Now they're really spending.
That's wild. Wow.
But then
so I can't vote here.
Which
is actually nice because people ask. I hate being on like pushed into one side. People always try to like It's so funny. Also, just want to add, this is so funny in America. Also for me, I'm not too political, but I have some jokes about politics. More like making fun of it, and people always want to put me in a box with the side. I've made for example, I made a video when Trump got shot. I made a funny video, like I made a video about him, like comparing it to like he lifted his arm and stuff with the flag, and I compared it to like Nazi Germany stuff like that. And then people called me like a liberal, queer, weasel Democrat. But then I posted a video on the 4th of July where I had like I said I got my green card, and I wore like a full eagle outfit with like American flag hat. People called me a racist Trump supporter. I was like, how? This is crazy on both sides, that people want to like put you in this box, and like I got the hatred for. I was accused of being both. I was being accused of being both a sexist Trump supporter and a gay Republican, a gay Democrat. It's so funny.
Yeah, but then do you deal with these negative comments? Or?
I noticed best is to not engage at all.
Oh, I used to not engage them, but lately, what I do is I just copy paste and reply them back, and I'll just
reply them back.
Yeah, I just use their exact word. I change the name and send it back to them.
You mean? Oh, when they insult you?
Yeah, when they insult me. Yeah, I just
in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments. You're fucking idiot. I just copy and paste. You're fucking idiot. Just
reply that person. Yeah. You know what's funny though? Like,
but sometimes when I get bored, I just do a couple of them. Otherwise, just block them.
Oh man! But you know what's messed up about this? You got to be careful because I have a friend. He's like, I mean, he talks about he's German, but he was born in Israel, right? So he talks about like the Israel-Palestine thing, right? And he just by the fact, and he's very nuanced with it. But just based on the fact that he talks about, of course, he gets a lot of, it's such a hot topic. Like it's probably that's even more heated then because it's an actual war, right? Palestine and Israel. So when he gets comments, people call him like some really bad, like Jewish rap, whatever, some insults, whatever. And then he goes back and he says, "You're very silly," and then he gets reported. Sometimes you got to be careful. Somebody can call you like crazy insult, but then you say something back, and then you get reported. Your account, his account is now restricted from being shown to people and stuff like that because he commented back on somebody who insulted him.
Yeah,
and and he got the. So you got to be careful with not engaging too much because it can hurt your account and everything.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I think we're just not. People are not very tech savvy to regulate social media. That's what it is. I think what the platform does is really makes no sense to me at all.
They just use it's no real people. It's just a robot. Like when he hears I had something, I'm in this process right now. I'm paying some. It's crazy, man. I had a post taken down where I talk about a German children's book, and I say like I don't know some stupid joke. I made some Nazi joke or something, and I just say it's very nuanced. It's not like at all. And then it got taken down for like idealization of Nazi symbols. And I was like, wait. I make fun of the. It's crazy how like. But it's not a real person. And then every time I submit it and I have to like talk to people at Meta and stuff like that, and then it takes like my account now is banned from being shown to non-followers. So I can't get reach right. All my accounts stopped. I was gaining so many followers every day. It just stopped. I lost so many followers in the last couple of days. And it always comes back. It's always sorry after reviewing, we made a mistake. But I have a contact at Meta I can contact. So and then maybe they get back to me and I can resolve it. But most people, they just have this robot who sees something and mistakenly takes your post down. Yeah. And it's a big problem. I mean,
but I don't understand. And you see clips of guys literally waving a Nazi flag. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. I don't know where the standard is.
Yeah, no, it's very new. It's very hard to. And I get it's hard for a social media platform to monitor that much content. Humans couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Every second, I forgot the exact number, but on YouTube they say every hour, like a week of content gets uploaded every like minute or something. Like it's crazy. If you think about the, I don't know the exact number, but it's so much content we can't even. Nobody could watch that. Yeah, no human, even if they have like hire so many employees, they could do.
Yeah. So, somebody did a study. It takes a person like 57,000 years to go through the content or something crazy number. It's like man. The people don't know what to do with it.
Probably to watch the content that's uploaded in a day on YouTube would be a lifetime if you something like that. If you look,
exactly.
It's wild,
man. Oh wow! On the lighter note, so what's next for you? Besides getting a late night spot.
Well, right now for me, it did my first tour this year. My first national tour this year. I just started touring, which is amazing. I loved it so much. So honestly, it's just all stand up. It's all. I want to do a European tour next year.
Oh, okay.
I'm working with an agency now, so we're planning on setting up a tour. That's just all stand up, man. And because I was very distracted at the beginning, I was doing a lot of different things. I was doing, some acting, and I'm just all stand up focused. I love it so much. So
I see.
Establishing myself as a stand up comedian. Love the content I'm making. I started a new channel on YouTube, which is because I have a channel that's more modeling stuff, and I have a lot of gay fans, and it's just so different from what I do now. So I made a new channel where I basically it's like a German my German perspective on America. So I do I did a video like German goes to Cracker Barrel for the first time. Stuff like that. And I want to do other ones. I haven't tried so many food places here, and people love that, like German doing American stuff. Like German, I've never gone to Taco Bell. I've tried once, but like I want to go. German goes to Taco Bell, stuff like that. Yeah, maybe we should make a video. German goes, because I bring like people from that nationality. So I want to go to Taco Bell with one of my Mexican friends. Maybe we should we should make a video going to. No, we go to Panda Express.
Panda Express. That's the most authentic.
The best Asian Chinese food. I don't know. Is it based on
Nobody
Chinese
knows?
Food, or is it like,
well, it's Asian American.
Asian American.
This is very Asian American.
What do you think of Panda Express?
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Really?
See,
wow,
here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know like other people. Some of my friends, like Ronnie Chang, doesn't like it. But I love it. It has its value, because I'm a little bit emotionally attached to it because I came here to study.
Yeah, because
that's the only Asian food I can eat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because every time I eat like Mongolian beef, it just it has that warm feeling to it.
Wow, that's beautiful. How different is it from actual?
Oh, it's very different. You don't see orange chicken in China. No.
It's
no orange chicken, no fortune cookies.
So orange chicken is like Americans made it.
Okay, Mongolian beef. Where do you eat that in China? No.
Same with Italian food. Do you know that fettuccine Alfredo? What's it called?
Alfredo. Yeah.
Alfredo is not a thing in Italy.
Oh, really?
You don't see it ever. It's an American thing. Americans made it.
Okay. Yeah. That would be fun.
If you go to Italy and you order fettuccine Alfredo, they're gonna kick you out. They're gonna be like, "Mamma mia!"
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think because it's like
because Alfredo, I think, literally means fresh air or something outside, right? Or
Alfredo fresco. Yeah, I speak Spanish, not Italian, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Possibly. Yeah, they have cool names. Tiramisu.
Yeah.
Reno means like I think pull me in or something like it's.
Yeah. That's what that meant.
Something like that, yeah. It's like because tirar in Spanish is like pulling, and it's like a beautiful, like a lustful, It's like, it's seducing you almost,
Oh, yeah, but here it just sounds nice, but nobody knows what it means.
Tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
Could I get a chop suey?
Chop suey.
Yeah. How does it bother you? Like, question. This is interesting. Do you pronounce? Because I found myself doing that. Do you pronounce Chinese words like an American now? When you talk to Americans?
I do. Yeah, but sometimes, I remember this lady actually yelled at me. Yeah. Because I said Beijing instead of Beijing. And she said, you're from China. You know how to pronounce the word correctly. I'm like, really? You married a white guy, man. What are you yelling at me for?
That's true. Because I feel weird because I order, because I grew up speaking French, so I say croissant.
Croissant.
Right?
Oh,
croissant. Yeah. But then when you go here, I feel like a douchebag. Oh. Because you feel like, when you say Beijing, it's like just it sounds like unnecessary. And now I adapt and I say it like a trashy American,
Oh, how do you say it in America, though?
Well, croissant.
A croissant. Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
because I used to work for a French company, so I kind of know a little bit about French pronunciation. Yeah, I still call it croissant, but people understand it.
Yeah, they get it. Yeah, but if you go fully, like if you go, or you say something like, when you go to, like, some people go to Spain, they say, I just went to Ibiza. It's because that's how you pronounce it.
Really? I didn't know.
Ibiza. But then, like, it just sounds a little weird. So even German words now I say
it's not Ibiza, it's Ibiza.
Yeah, Ibiza. Because like the
wow.
Z in
the sounds sexier. That sound,
Because you just talk like American. Yeah, last week I went to Ibiza. It's a weird, like. So even German words, like there's a place here called it's called in German it's called Wurstküche. Okay?
Wurstküche.
I don't know how you pronounce it. You would say Wurstküche. Wurstküche. Something like that. And now because Americans don't know what I'm saying when I say, and it's like a thing, they have a couple of branches. It's like a German sausage place. It's quite nice actually. They have like sauerkraut sausage, a lot of German beers. And now I mispronounce my own language. to fit in with Americans. Instead of saying, I say Volkswagen instead of Volkswagen.
Oh, you know? Volkswagen.
I say Volkswagen so Americans, you know.
Volkswagen, yeah.
It's weird.
But I understand though. I'm not bothered by that at all. As long as people can communicate.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more focused on.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, if people can. I always have the opinion that the whole world should have just one language. Because we spend so much energy learning different languages, and so much misunderstanding. But, I'm pretty, but nobody wants to do it.
Well, I try to make that happen, but try to all of a sudden tell like Chinese people, you're all speaking English now.
Well, speaking Tahiti or something.
We should pick a weird language so nobody gets offended. Let's pick a random language, Dutch or something like that.
There actually a Polish guy who invented a world language.
Really?
Yeah. But you see, nobody knows about it. Nobody wants to change their own language.
I think English is obviously becoming that, right? So it could have been German, right?
It's just
could have been any. Who decided that they became English?
Oh,
it's just based on colonies. I mean, I guess. I mean, the British had so many colonies.
Yeah.
And it just so happened.
Based on people.
It just happened that way. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay. I just I know a few German words like Guten Morgen. I don't know if I pronounced that right or not.
Well, you just gotta say it more aggressively. So I was like, Guten Morgen.
Oh, Guten Morgen.
You just gotta say it with a gutter or like a little bit of anger always.
Okay, Guten Morgen.
Because Germans, we either sound super aggressive or a little bit gay. It's always like, you either say Guten Morgen or you say Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
There's only two vibes we have as Germans.
How do you say thank you?
Dankeschön.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dankeschön.
Yeah.
Mario.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön, Mario. This is a lot of fun.
No, this is fun. We covered it all, man. We talked about racism in America. And food. I think we got a bit for everybody.
Yeah. And experience about white immigrants in America.
Yeah. People need to talk about it more. About the struggles of a 6'3" white man in America.
Exactly.
Thanks for giving me a platform. I appreciate it.
You come to this country with only $23 in your pocket. That's
almost.
Typical immigrant story. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, man. Yeah.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Okay, I'll see you in different shows, I guess.
I'll see you. Hopefully New York soon.
Okay, cool.